We're running out of options.
If this goes haywire, blame the new guy. Who says an old dog can't learn new tricks?
The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Fantastic Forum, assemble! You are watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from Fantastic Forum Studios, Los Angeles. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you should stick with us. We'll help you take it up a notch. You have the usual suspects in the building. First, he is our riddle inside of an enigma, trapped in Chinese finger cuffs. You don't know him. You love him anyway. He's our silent assassin, Jay.
Hey, what's up?
Next, he is our intrepid senior reporter. He's next in line for the cowl. He's our resident Dark Knight detective. It's Oz.
Okay, I'm ready to talk about Preacher.
There it is. There it is. Next, he's the backbone, the pillar, the strength of Fantastic Forum, our nigh and vulnerable brawler and resident strongman, Moses Magnum.
Hey.
And as for myself, my name is Lawrence Young. They call me Mayor Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. We got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking to you all about Jupiter's Legacy television show. We're going to be talking to you all about the Invincible television show, and we're going to be talking to you all about the DC animated movie Justice Society World War II. So we got all that going on, and of course, whatever else it is that you all want to talk about. But before we do all that, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, who without him, this entire show would not exist. So thank you, Scott Rubin. Hope you're doing well. And we want to make sure that we let you know how it is you can get down with Fantastic Forum. So let's go ahead and do that now.
Almost.
Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at allgames.com/live. Join the party. You know you want to.
Thank you, intern, for your amazing work. Appreciate you. So, if you want to get down with Fantastic Forum, like we mentioned before, you can go ahead and do that in all the aforementioned ways. We will take your comments directly out of chat and bring them into the show, such as insert witty chat comment here, Jay.
Tigerfon chat says, "What's up, Fantastic Forum? What do you think of the trailer for Venom? Let there be carnage."
What do we think of the Venom sequel trailer? Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Can we just start real quick, Fantastic Forum, with the name? Jay, what do you think of the name Venom, Let There Be Carnage?
I don't like it.
That's fair. Look, that's exactly what I want. Oz, real quick, what do you think of it?
I think it fits perfect. I like it.
Got you. Moses Magnum. Say it again, Oz?
Tells you everything you need to know.
Okay, got it. Moses Magnum, what do you think?
It's more like Let There Be Yawns.
No, sheesh. As for myself, yeah, I'm not a big fan of it either. I don't. I'm not a big fan of the name. That's what I was talking about specifically in this particular moment. I don't have a problem with them putting Carnage in the title, but I feel like they could have done it better. Let There Be Carnage.
What do you want? Venom 2 Gooey Boogaloo?
No, Maximum Carnage.
Yeah, Venom, Maximum Carnage.
I mean, that's a cheesy way to go, but I think it's the right way.
Yeah.
Wait, cheesy way to go versus Let There Be Carnage is not cheesy?
No, that's just terrible.
Oh, I think it's both. That's the messed up part. Like, at least Maximum Carnage is cheesy, but you're like, no, like, it's like, well, that's what the comic was, and the term Maximum Carnage is kind of a cool term. It definitely has like a little bit of 90s nostalgia kind of thing going on with it, but it works.
This movie isn't exactly Winter Soldier. Like,
No, I feel that. I feel that.
You know, like it's not whatever you think is good. This movie isn't.
And I feel like there's definitely a part of this whole, like, them deciding not to go with like the comic book thing was a conscious decision of them, like, trying to not be like Marvel. Like, I really feel like the people in, like, we're like, well, that's what the MCU guys do. We're trying to differentiate ourselves, and it's kind of like, okay, that's cool, you can differentiate, but don't do that. Don't let there be carnage. It's like, because I get it. They're like, well, they already took Maximum Carnage and they took Absolute Carnage already. And I think they actually did one more storyline that's like another Carnage storyline that I can't even remember. So all the, huh?
Carnage USA.
Yeah,
they did a bunch of Carnage.
No, but no. I'm just talking about like that you would actually use in a movie title. Like, you're not going to use Carnage USA. That
would
crazy.
work great.
You think so? Venom Carnage USA would be a good title for a movie?
Yeah.
Why? Like, what does that even
Well,
mean?
it'd be a good title for this movie.
Because it's a bad movie.
Right.
Like, I feel like somebody could have come up with a better title than Let There Be Carnage. I don't know. But anyway, what do you all think of the trailer itself? How about you, Oz? What do you think of the trailer itself?
I thought it was fine. It looks like a movie I want to watch. I enjoyed the first one. I probably enjoyed this one. I do miss the bright red Jufro on what's Homeboy's name?
Cletus Cassidy.
Yeah, what's the actor's name?
Woody
that guy.
Harrelson.
Yeah, Woody Harrelson. Like the one he had at the end of Venom 1 was just like so like bright and out there. Like when Stan takes off that green thing and it made me laugh just watching it. I wanted his Carnage to actually have like a little bit of the curls too. I love that.
Which one of the South Park kids has that? Is it Kyle?
Whichever one has the green hat, the Jewish guy.
That's Kyle. Yeah, it's Kyle. It's so funny because it's like one of those things where it's like, I know one of them has it, but they don't take their hats off. They take their hats off so seldom. I didn't want to just assume it was Kyle. But I was like, I think it's Kyle, but I'm listening. I'm like, do his parents have red hair? But his mom does, right? His mom is a redhead. So
yeah.
Jay, what'd you think of actually, you know what? No. Let me go to Mo first. Mo. Yeah, Mo, what did you think of the Venom trailer? Which I'm sure people can surmise what you thought, but since you haven't quite said yet.
Well, here the thing is, they put too much emphasis in the trailer, at least, because I can't talk about the movie. I haven't seen it, but they put too much emphasis on the humor of Venom, and it's not something I like. I don't like the voice they use for the symbiote.
Yeah,
and I don't like the voice they use. Like Tom Hardy's voice sucks. Like for a dude that played like a brawler and Bane and all this, you got a shitty voice.
I mean, is that what his voice sounds like all the time?
That's his natural voice. Just, not British accent.
Oh, got it.
Right.
Got it. Like, okay, yeah, I see. Yeah. That British accent can do wonders, though.
I do like that Toxin's in it.
Is Toxin in it?
Yeah, he's that police chief. Or detective guy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, the guy from the Guy Ritchie movies.
Okay.
That's the character that's Toxin, I believe.
Does it? Okay. It doesn't say that in the trailer, though, right? It just, that's you.
No, but I'm hoping, like, there's got to be something.
You're hoping it's Toxin?
Yeah. Like, I mean, we'll go all out, right?
Hey, listen. Jay, what's your take?
I feel like Mo has a point with the comedy. Like, it opens up with the scene of them cooking.
Oh, dude, I was out right from that moment.
Like, I don't want to watch this movie.
No, absolutely. Look, I felt 100% like you did, Jay. Where I saw Venom making eggs and stuff and waffles, and I was like, "This is some bull." Like,
and then they show Carnage, and he's not even really red. Like black with like red highlights, or like dark. Like Carnage is red.
He's red with black veins, like how Venom is black with white veins.
Right.
No, Venom is not black with white veins.
In the movies, he is.
Well, that's
In the first movie, because they couldn't have the spider symbol because there was no Spider-Man, so they just made like white veins. Like somebody jizzed all over his chest.
I don't look how people can profess to be Venom fans and like that movie. I don't even understand it. Like, well, you understand. There was no Spider-Man, so he couldn't use the spider symbol yet. It's like, what? Like this is all the things wrong with the Venom movie, the first one. And the messed up part is the first Venom movie, based on this trailer for the second one, looks like it's going to be a masterpiece in comparison. To me, I was just like, oh my God. Like, I never thought I would see anything Venom related that would make me be like, you know what? We should just go back to the first one. Because that's a much better movie than what we're about to get.
Tiger Claw in chat says that it's also going to feature Shriek. I've also seen reports that Toxin is in it too.
Yeah, Mo did mention that while you were away. So I listen. I personally like. Wait, go ahead, Jay.
Do we need Shriek?
Listen, you don't need Shriek or Toxin.
Well, you need Carnage.
Don't get me wrong. I love Shriek. Like,
right?
I think she's amazing. Like, for what she is, like, I think she's amazing.
If they would have called it Maximum Carnage, then Shriek should be in it.
No.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't think she should be in this movie. Like, I like her. I love her in the comics. Like, the role she played was awesome. But I don't think the movie is gonna be good, and I don't think, like, what exactly do you do with Shriek in the movie where it's just Venom? It's like basically it's just Carnage and Shriek kicking Venom's ass for like an hour and a half.
I'm okay with that.
But they're not gonna do it. They're gonna have him prevail, which he should not be able to do against the two of them.
That's true.
Like, he's not smart enough.
But that's like not even the most like easy thing that's wrong with this movie. They could do that. He could prevail and it'd be fine because this is that movie. It's like Pandalicious says right here. I feel like the movie Upgrade is a better Venom movie than what we got.
And lots of people have brought that up.
I think we said that. I think we had a whole show about Upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, lots of people have said it. It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Upgrade is so good. Like, and that hasn't gotten a sequel.
That dude should have got an award. Like, I believe that his head was detached from his body.
Listen, I'll say this right now. Like, people act like a Carnage, like, in the same way that it doesn't make sense to make a Venom movie without Spider-Man involved in any way, shape, or form, is the same way it doesn't make sense to make a movie, a Venom movie with Carnage in it without Spider-Man involved in any way, shape, or form. Where it's like, why but? What's the but?
You say Spider-Man's not involved, but it is in a Spider-Verse universe.
I don't know what that means.
People are like just jerking themselves off because when the guy opens the Daily Bugle, it's the same logo that they use in the Raimiverse movies.
Yeah.
So people are expecting Maguire to show up and flip.
Listen, if
there was a spider crawling on their desk too.
Oh wow, spiders exist in that universe? Whoa, that's crazy.
I don't see why they would, because Venom has nothing to do with a spider.
You don't know why spiders would exist in that universe?
It's almost as bad as like the logo being a dragon. Like, it's really a dragon, not a spider. It just looks to us humans. It's a dragon on Cano's planet. You know, like that. Because it's just as dumb.
I mean, he is like the god of symbiotes, right?
I don't have a problem with the symbol interpretation in the comics.
It's like, not like S means hope on Krypton.
I see. I don't think that I have a problem with that either, though.
Oh, all right then. Yeah, then we're done.
At least he explained that, right? Like it's like a flowing river, and it just happens to be in that,
Like we see it like an S. You know what I'm saying? Like trust me. I don't. But either anyway, what I'm saying is this: is why like Spider-Man's not gonna be in this movie, and what makes it like the thing that made Carnage like really amazing and cool outside of the character itself, because the idea of a serial killer with a symbiote was a cool concept. But really what sells the whole thing is like, Venom had a code. And Venom was really just trying to get Spider-Man, right? Now you got this guy out here that has no code and he's running amok. And the part of it that made it like, oh, this is crazy is Venom has to team up with Spider-Man to fight this other guy. And that was the thing that made Carnage like, whoa, like this is like, at the time that was mind blowing. It was a long time ago, you know what I'm saying? But at the time, yeah, like, obviously we have a whole, like, that was when Venom wasn't quite at the point now where you're like, oh, Venom, of course. Like, I guess people think Venom's a good guy from the start. Okay, fine. Hey, I'm not here to tell you all how to like or not like Venom. I'm just telling you that the story they're going to come up with for this thing is going to be lame. And, I will say I didn't have a huge problem or as huge of a problem as Jay did with the way Carnage looks, even though, like, I think Carnage looks way better than Venom did. And, but that's not saying much. It's a low bar to pass. So,
Heck in chat says this comic was giving me more white hairs in my goatee, and I hope he doesn't mean like the spider veins on Venom.
That's what it is.
Although if that's what you're into, that's what you're into. Okay, who am I to judge?
If they wanted to make a Venom solo film, they probably should have made like an Ancient Venom movie and just let all the Spider-Man stuff happen off screen.
And I think that's kind of Marvel's reasoning behind this whole King in Black stuff and all that, because they're doing their thing, and it's like, well, you know what? Let's just do our thing. If we can get it somewhat removed to the point where we can actually do our own eventually, maybe, and you don't even have to think about that movie. You know what I mean?
Maybe, but you're thinking like if Marvel brought Venom into the MCU, you're thinking it would be like removed from Spider-Man and all that. They would just start at a different point.
No, it'll be removed from the Sony ones. Like if they somehow get the rights back or something. And because of everything they've done with the King in Black and all that, Canol, like it's gonna. They have so much to work with that they don't even have to like touch on Spider-Man right off the bat. They could give you a prequel before Spider-Man even gets the symbiote, or even skip it altogether because there's enough lore now that you don't need Spider-Man. You know?
Wow, I don't like
it, but
go ahead, Oz.
It looks like that. It's almost like when they told people, stop doing commissions of Fantastic Four and they don't feature Fantastic Four. This is the opposite. They're giving you all this other cool Venom shit that is even the crappy shit is leagues better than these fucking movies.
Oh, well, I would agree with that. But I will say that, I'm a little baffled by how much everyone loves, like, all the new symbiote stuff. Like I've read, well, I didn't read all of like the current Venom series. I read some of it, and I didn't find it that amazing to me. It didn't appeal to me in that way. And I read King in Black, and it was all right. It wasn't a bad story. It didn't like floor me where I'm like, oh man, like, especially considering like, Donny Cates and like how much praise he gets as a writer. I'm like, man, like, this story didn't knock me off my feet in any way, shape, or form. So I'm like, it's kind of, I don't know what, like, everything's not for everybody. So I'm just assuming that's the thing.
Real quick, Tiger Chat says, isn't Shriek like Carnage's love interest?
No.
And yes, she is.
Listen, Tiger Claw is Wikipedia.
But
the thing about Shriek is she is in love with Cassidy. Carnage. She's a psychopath, and she can emit sound waves, which are lethal to Venom, which is why they made an interesting foil for Venom. And yeah, like that's her deal.
Yeah.
But isn't she more in love with him than him with her?
No, they're both like
Equally?
yeah, like
Okay.
basically they both get off on the fact that they love like killing.
Right. Okay.
Like so it's like a mutual like, hey, you like killing as much as I do. Let's kill together.
Oh. They should they should have gotten the chick from Natural Born Killers to be Shriek. And then that way it could have been like a reunion.
She's too old.
Dang, wait, why is she too old if Woody Harrelson is like okay?
Because he's a serial killer. Like, they're supposed to be old and white.
I don't understand. Like, why can't an older white woman be a psychopath?
Nah, they're too maternal.
See, look, you see the sexism and ageism.
Whatever, you and
rear its ugly head. Ugly head.
You and
the sexism of saying women aren't mass murderers by nature.
No, the sexism was saying she's too old because she's a woman.
In any case,
because she's a woman, she's too old.
In any case, we have a caller.
Yes. El Hecht.
Hi.
Tell the people where you're calling from and what you want to talk about, buddy.
I'm calling from the ageism capital of the world.
Wow.
Arizona. No taxes.
We don't wear masks. We only tax the Mexicans. And in Southern Arizona, our only currency is tortillas.
Well, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But
delicious. That's all it is. Delicious.
Talk to us, Hack. What did you see this Venom Let There Be Carnage trailer?
Yeah. Silicon Carnage? Yeah, I saw it.
Wait, what'd you call it?
Chili con Carnage, because it's a better name.
Chili con Carnage is in fact a better name.
No,
Venom. If the movie was called Chili, if the movie was called Venom, Chili con Carnage, I would be like, just because they called it that, I think I have to go see it. Like right now, I mean, I'm still gonna go watch it, obviously, but I wouldn't necessarily. I don't feel compelled. Like if I decide tomorrow that I'm gonna not watch it, I don't. You couldn't convince me different. But Chili con Carnage, I'd be like, damn.
That's a title.
Nice. It would be the most Latino thing in Marvel. So.
Well, you'd have to have George Lopez be Carnage or something.
Oh man, can you imagine?
That'd be awesome. Or he could be Toxin. He'll be that detective that becomes Toxin.
You need like John Leguizamo.
John Leguizamo would be an amazing Carnage.
I think you're right.
He was the one that was carrying Spawn when he was the clown.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what's that?
What'd you say, Jay?
No, that's what I was saying.
You're saying John Leguizamo?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Oh wow. Okay, what were you gonna say, Oz?
Toxin could be Paul Rodriguez. Walk around going. Da-da-da.
No, that's Carlos Mencia.
Yeah.
Wait, they look the same to me.
Oh, jeez.
They both look like you, actually.
That's hilarious.
Got him.
Wait, so is all this happening with Tom Hardy as Venom still, or is he getting recast by Latino as well?
He'll just change his name to Tomas Hardy.
He'll do his,
Tomas.
he'll do his Bane accent again.
Yeah, you give him the Bane accent.
That's hilarious. The messed up part is, I think I would prefer him to be talking like Bane than his voice in the trailer. You're right.
Like in a week, somebody will redub that trailer with the Bane voice for Venom. Man,
I hope that happens.
I hope so too, because that would make it watchable.
Yeah. Oh God.
But
Okay.
yeah,
So
I never saw the first one, so the trailer was entertaining to me, and that's all I'm going to see of it.
Listen, based on what I saw of that trailer for the second one, it doesn't feel like you need to watch the first one to watch this movie. Like it feels like the tone is completely different.
Venom, the symbiote, is a homemaker, and that's all you need to know.
And they retconned the relationship between him and Mrs. Chan.
Because why?
Because they were like friendly and stuff, and now they're all like aggressive towards each other.
No, they're still friendly.
I don't know.
No, it's the symbiote that's not a fan of her.
He's just back because he wanted chocolate. I mean, other than that, he's like speaking Chinese or something to her, right? Like, what the hell does he say?
Chili con carnage.
Chili con carnage. This is like I blame Baby Groot for this. Like Venom wouldn't act like that if it wasn't for Baby Groot.
Yeah. It's always James Gunn's fault.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just calling it like I see it. So anyway,
Do you think he's going to be adult Groot in the next Guardians of the Galaxy or in Love and Thunder? Because I guess they're going to be in that too, right?
Wait, what?
Love and Thunder. The film.
Yeah, I guess they will be in that, huh?
Yeah, at least Space Lord, he's in it.
Space Lord, you know his name. Stop. Don't hate. It's like you know me. Like I actually really dislike the Guardians movies, and I still don't hate like that. Like,
I really like Chris Pratt.
I know you do. Listen, we might get an adult Groot in the Christmas special.
Christmas special?
Real quick, in chat, Alicia says, so I kind of want to say older women can be psychos and serial killers. Eileen Wuornos was 46 when she was a serial killer.
Right, there's always exceptions to the rules.
No, and I wasn't saying they can't do that. I was just going with what Larry was trying to say, where I'm talking about. Fuck, I forget her name, but the girl from Natural Born Killers.
I don't know her name.
Oh yeah, Juliette Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis.
Too old to play Shriek. The end.
Lawrence is just perpetuating the Hollywood stereotype of
Lawrence doesn't even remember the last thing he saw Juliette Lewis in.
No, why do I have to remember the last thing I saw her in?
She's totally different now. Like you would not want her anywhere near any of your comic book characters right now. Still a lovely lady, still looks good in her own right. She is an odd-looking woman.
Dang, that's not right.
Hey,
you might be correct, but that's not right.
Yeah, I'm absolutely correct. Like I saw her in one of these like murder mystery shows, and I was like, man. I mean, she's killed it, amazing in it, but she doesn't look like herself.
Oh wow.
I mean, she looks like she could be a symbiote.
Look, she looks like she could be an older white woman serial killer, but not Shriek.
Listen, I don't know what Shriek looks like without the symbiote on. Like, and I don't feel like anybody else does either. Like, nobody's looking at they know what the symbiote looks like. Like, I can tell you exactly what the symbiote looks like.
Wait, Shriek?
Like the woman, like the host. I don't know what that person looks like.
She was in Maximum Carnage, right? Like before.
Yeah.
She didn't have a symbiote all the time in that.
Wait, was
Shriek is
she
a punk rock looking chick with the doppelganger as a pet?
Oh, you know what? I'm thinking about whatchamacallit. What's that symbiote's name?
I know the one you're talking about, but
yeah, I'm thinking about. That's who I was thinking about. Damn, you know what? What's Shriek look like? I don't even remember.
She looks like the girl in this movie.
I would like to change my answer. I totally believe Juliette Lewis would kill people.
And look,
no, perfect casting. Make her a serial killer. Even if it's not find a movie where she's a serial killer. I want to see that movie. My apologies. I forgot what she looked like.
But the thing is, that's not what she looks like. That is probably like 10 years old. That's not what she looks like.
Oh, I remember Shriek now. Look, dude, Shriek has a look. If they make her look like in the comic, she's whatchamacallit. She has all that makeup. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I guess. I actually like the casting choice for Shriek here. So that's why I'm defending it in a weird way.
Who would they cast?
I just saw her in that little like 2 frames or whatever. I don't know who it is.
She looks like a messed up domino.
Yeah. I mean, it's the 90s.
Yeah. And this design right here is actually, I don't think that's the old school, like the 90s design either.
You know what? That's a good question. I don't know.
Like
I don't remember.
It's more like leather jackety looking costume.
I don't think it's. I think it's. Isn't it more like a bustier or something? I don't know.
I mean, with the fishnets and shit.
The messed up part is I was not thinking about that character at all. I was thinking, you know who I was thinking about? I was thinking about Scream. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, Shriek, Scream, you're close.
Right, exactly right. That's who I was thinking about. I was thinking about the Carnage's children. I forgot that Shriek is I don't like that character doesn't hold that kind of weight with me. Like I'm assuming she must have come back at some other points in the whole, Marvel mythos, but
yeah.
Nah. Maximum Carnage, one and done.
Right. Well, I mean, that's definitely the high point. I know that. Maximum Carnage is definitely the high point. I'm sure, like that's like she's probably ending up being one of those characters where somebody's like, "Hey, so I need to kill somebody. Who can I kill?" And they're like, "Oh, here's the kill list. You can kill any of these characters." No one, Shrieks probably was on that list, and I'm sure she's been resurrected in some way, shape, or form by this point. But was Shriek? How did Shriek get her powers? Do you even remember, Jay?
No, I don't.
I'm mad. Is she in an animated joint there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. And they gave her flesh-colored pants?
Yeah, that's a way more conservative costume.
Yeah, super. Anyway. We should start talking about yeah, I guess so. We should start talking about we got a lot of shows to talk about today. So we should start talking about them. Heck, you gonna hang out with us and talk about Invincible and or Jupiter's Legacy and or Justice Society World War II?
I don't know anything that's going on with any of those.
Sheesh. You haven't. Oh, okay, that's fair.
Dude, I have no time. I have I still have to finish Death Metal. I did the first issue and then
you don't have to finish that.
I have to.
I'm not mad at Heck. Like I am actually intending on finishing Death Metal as well. But Death Metal's hard because
so was the creative team. They were intending on finishing it.
Listen, it's hard because you know how DC does their crossover events where they put all the they put key story points in like all these other random books.
Yeah,
and so like you
gotta look in an obscure website to find the reading order.
Right, exactly.
Reading order that's completely different.
Especially Death Metal had a lot of weird, random one shots.
Yeah.
Then they didn't all come out in order either.
No, and that's the messed up part where it's like literally like. If you go from Death Metal like 5 to 6, you're lost.
You have no idea what's going on.
Key things happened in between that were in random issues, and not even like say like, oh, well, obviously if you just read Superman because like Superman's in there, or if you just read Wonder Woman, it's like no, it's like friggin' Multiversity's End, Death Metal, Dark Knight's Death Metal Multiversity's End #1. What?
Like
what is that?
Multiversity, so how's anybody gonna know to read that?
I love how Larry's like, we got to get to a lot of shows, and then it goes on.
But let me start on Captain Carrot.
Captain Carrot is the only one shot that did not have a death metal tie-in, but he is in the book though. He is in the book. If you didn't read that issue with him in it, you missed some. No,
It turns out there's going to be a comic in about 2 years that's going to go back to that and tie it into death metal. So,
God, anyway,
so that's DC. There you go.
That
Thanks,
is
AT&T.
in fact DC. Like I love how we just blame all these corporations. Damn you AT&T, damn you Disney. No.
That big box. Fucking mouse.
When I said damn you Disney, it's like I felt something try to come up. It hurt.
The mouse over there. Like, fucking.
The mouse is hitting the button that's activating his collar, so it's like bolting on the inside.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, the bile. All right. You all want to start with Invincible?
I'd rather start with Jupiter, but it's up to you guys.
I'm down to start with Jupiter. You want to start with Jupiter's Legacy?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, Jupiter's Legacy, the Netflix series, basically is the story of Sheldon Sampson, aka the Utopian, and his team of superheroes called the Union. They all got their powers in the 1930s, and the story basically revolves around the Utopian dealing with the fact that the next generation of heroes, including his own children, are not down with his superhero code and finding it antiquated. So the series is on Netflix. Of course, it's based on the comic book by Mark Millar and Frank Quitely, and it is on Netflix. So it all came out at once. What is it? 8 episodes?
Yeah,
something like that.
The first part is 8 episodes. Yeah.
Right, season 1. Yes, is 8 episodes, or is it like it is season 1, right? It's not like they're like season 1 part 1, season 1 part 2, right?
It's season 1 part 1 and 2. I think the rest is gonna come out in like 6 months.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they do that a lot.
What, on Netflix?
Yeah,
that's what they're doing with Lucifer.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
It's nothing new for Netflix.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, I know that. Like, I guess I know that they did it for like that happened with like Sabrina, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what other series have they done that with? Like, I don't even.
Lucifer.
Yeah, but that hasn't come out, right?
And Fuller House.
Well, the second half didn't come out. The first half already did.
Oh, okay. Okay, so listen, I didn't realize that because it doesn't do it for any of the shows I watch except for Sabrina.
Well,
I didn't know.
I think a lot of it is pandemic related.
Oh, gotcha.
After I really started noticing it more, unless they did it before.
Pandemic related, but also the actual story arc it's like a halfway point. Think of it like your winter break on network television.
Mm-hmm.
So the full season story arc isn't finished, even though a mini arc is. And that's kind of how they break things up.
Yeah. So, fellas, like, give me a solid, like, short take on what you all thought of Jupiter's Legacy. And then we'll dig deeper into it afterwards. Jay, let's start with you, man. Just, like 20 seconds. What did you think of Jupiter's Legacy?
Well, it's a live action show on Netflix that I did not watch because I don't have Netflix.
That's fair.
It looked like the effects look really bad, but all this in the show.
Is it worse than like syndicated 90s superhero show?
Wait till we do the round robin.
Yeah. We'll get there. Heck, we'll get there.
Uh,
Oz, are you ready, Oz?
I really like this show. It feels like two shows because it does that. Half of it takes place in the past to give you an origin, and the other half is in the present to see where these characters are now. And the in the present stuff is kind of just feels a little bit of basic superheroing TV show, but the stuff in the past, man, I'm really like it. Like I want that show. Give me that show of them in the 30s. I only saw the first 3 episodes. I didn't have a chance to
read fucking comics.
Well, we're talking about the show,
right? But look, I'll get to it in my 30 seconds.
See, you done messed up Oz's flow. Go ahead, Moses. What did you think of Jupiter's Legacy?
Okay. I don't get to. Okay.
If
you can finish, Oz. I'm sorry.
No. You know what? I'm just gonna drink my beer. You talk.
That's my bad.
Now you know how your wife feels.
Whoa, dang! What is going on with this show? Jesus.
Go ahead, finish. I'm gonna let you finish.
That's super inside joke. I love it.
Yeah, look, if you didn't watch it, you know the trailers would kind of mislead you into thinking the effects are bad. It's actually a lot of it is conversational, so you don't need the effects, and it does a really good job. It's not like the comic, and that's kind of what makes it good in this case. Because if they try to make it like the comic, you'd be missing some things, including the flashback shit too. You know, like because that's all Jupiter Circle shit. So
yeah,
if you read but the thing is, it's Mark Millar. So what the fuck do you expect? He sold these rights before the comic was even finished. I think Jupiter Circle is not even finished yet.
Yeah, it's not.
So it doesn't matter. Even if you don't like it, because not like the comics, guess what? You're not getting the fucking comics.
Oh man, I will say, Jupiter's Legacy, the television show, is a little bit of a mixed bag for me. From a story perspective, it's actually really good. And like Moses mentioned, it definitely does things differently than it does in the comics, and there are some parts or some points of that actually work better for it. Like the story is told in a way that might be more compelling for most people than what you read in the comic books. At the same time, there are some issues in regards to how it is that they choose to bring these characters to life. And I think my personal opinion in regards to effects falls somewhere in between Moses's and Jay's, in the sense that I don't think that they're garbage by any means, but I think what does happen effects-wise is they're trying very, very hard to differentiate themselves from all the other superhero mass media that's out there, or all the other superhero shows that are out there. So they're like, we don't want to do it the same way everybody else has done it. And some of those attempts are more successful than others. And so there are points in the show where I feel like the effects kind of take me out of it a little bit. But overall, I enjoyed what I saw. And so, Jupiter's Legacy is something that I think will be good for some and maybe not as much for others. So let's talk about it. Heck, it sounded like you had a question. What was it?
If the effects were worse than the 90s syndicated superhero shows.
Then the answer to that question is no. No. But
right.
but
Joe,
I will say
Joe nodded yes, but he didn't watch it. So
Well, what I saw in the trailer, the flying is like worse than the old 90s shows.
now when we're talking about the old 90s superhero shows, we're talking about what, like Lois and Clark?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that
that's
works.
coupled into it.
I'm just saying, like, what other superhero shows were there in the 90s that actually had like actual superhero effects that were like flying and stuff like that? Like what, like was there anything other than that? Or I don't know. Like I don't even remember. Like what? Like because you know me, I have a bad memory, so you literally would have to jog my memory to be like, oh, remember there was
when I
this
say,
show.
When I say 90s syndicated shows, I'm talking about like I'm coupling everything in there, like Xena, Hercules, fucking The Crow, that TV show that was on for a little bit.
Yeah, see, but like I feel like none of those shows have like I mean, they don't have any superhero flying. Like they might have like creatures flying, maybe, right? But none of those people fly. And then like
90s was the animated superhero era.
like, but then no, there was like what's the joint with that guy? What is it? Is it the Cape?
Yeah,
or the Hood?
There
the Cape. Okay.
No, the Cape.
That was 2000s.
Is the Cape the 2000s? No.
Yeah,
It was like 2010.
right at the beginning.
You're thinking of Nightman.
Oh, maybe I don't know.
I forgot about that fool.
That was
awesome.
yeah, it was still 2000s.
All those shows are in the 2000s?
Nightman was 97.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
Nightman
looking
is
at it. It didn't come out of my head. I'm looking at it.
Look, because wait, so what year was the Cape? Was the Cape literally like
2009?
Bullshit.
no? I don't believe that.
You were
2009?
We were doing the daily shows from your kitchen when it came out.
Not in 2009.
The
Yeah.
Cape was actually 2011.
Yeah, look.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jesus
You
Christ.
see why this whiskey bottle's empty?
Jeez, man. I'm sitting here like, wait, what? Oh my God. Okay, well, damn. No, but Jay, I mean, are you sure you're not just being hard on it?
No, I'm probably am being unnecessarily hard on it. Like,
And I'm gonna give you your points in the sense that the super speed and sometimes the flying are a little off, which is a weird thing. But again, I think it's literally they're like it's a choice.
well,
Like,
I
I
was
feel
talking about the flying. Like, there's one scene in the trailer where she's flying, the person's flying, and they come down for a landing, and it does not look great. It definitely looks better than the 90s and 2000s. Just being a hater, but you know, I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's a like I said, they make some like weird choices. Like even like another part that I find strange is like some of the sound effects they use, and I feel like the sound effects they're like trying to they're like, okay, we don't want it to sound like the typical superhero like bioblast or laser, and so they use like a different sound. And some of those sounds like might work for people, but I know for me, I was just kind of like, that's not what that should sound like.
What's up?
Wait, what'd you say, Jay?
You do Zark.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think Zark sounds like Zark in real life. Like I think Zark is onomatopoeia in the same way like Bamf. Like Bamf doesn't sound like Bamf in real life, right? Like it's in the same way like they're like ribbit.
It's more of a poof in real life.
It's more of a what?
It's more of a poof.
No, poof doesn't sound like poof.
Yeah.
No, Pam in real life sounds more like a poof. But it's
like the sound that poof sounds like, and Bamf sounds like the actual sound that poof is supposed to represent. Is what you're saying?
I don't know where you heard poof. All I hear, you guys hear poof. All I hear is poof.
Is that Mo saying it's all shit? Is that what
you're not getting
no, it's just like when I think poof, I think of farting.
Why?
I don't know, because it's a cloud of smoke or whatever coming out of where there's no fire.
What? So anytime there's smoke but no fire, you think about farts?
It's chili con carnage. Yeah.
Yep.
So when someone says "be gone," you're thinking about farts.
It's like when the sound effect is poof, like that's it. That's what I hear in my head. And that
Like,
doesn't. You don't spell that POOL.
What do you spell? Like what?
Look, we're not trying to figure out what I hear. We're trying to decipher what he's doing.
Listen, you're the one that brought it up, but we were all confused. We were like, wait, what?
No.
Never mind. Mo's out here. Mo's out here. Sees some dry ice. He's like,
Yeah,
like, ugh. Oh, it's funny, man. That's fair. But no, yeah. So the special effects, I think, are intentional, and some of them are more successful than others. Like, I feel like the mentalism aspect of it is interesting. In fact, like, this show, if I'm not mistaken, and you all help me out here, this show might be the first show that actually has like a physical, like a visual manifestation for using mental powers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like all the other shows, when somebody's using mental powers, they like, have someone like touch their head or something, or they like make a weird face, like, something, and they might like do a close up on somebody, but they don't actually like. It's not, in the comics, like when Professor X or Jean Grey uses their mental powers, and there's like a manifestation that you see. Like, this show does that.
Yeah.
And I think it's the first superhero show that I can remember, at least, which is probably not a high bar to clear. It's done.
I feel like I've seen this show does it better, but I feel like I've seen that where there's a mental battle and it's depicted as another scene going on. As the character,
no, but that's different though.
Or like talking in a different place or fighting in a different place. I've definitely seen mental battles where they're fighting each other, in a space to represent their mental battle.
Right, but that's a different thing. Like, that's definitely something that happens, and you're right. Like, it's common, and Jay's putting it up. That's what I'm talking about. Like, this is literally a physical, like a visual cue that's showing, oh, they're using their mental powers.
That's a visual representation of poof.
And so it's like this show, like when the people that are psychic use their mental powers, there's a visual representation and a noise, like a sound. And I will say that, personally, like, again, like the sound it's a little less successful for me, but at the same time, you don't have any kind of, or at least I don't remember a sound being associated with mental powers in a TV show either.
Aquaman.
Like, come on, man.
He talks to the fish. It's like a.
So we're saying Aquaman's a fish psychic.
I mean,
he talks to the. He projects it's a psychic projection to talk to the sea life.
I don't know. I've always thought
it's an ability from his mind to command another creature. That's a psychic ability.
No, I mean, I kind of like. I guess you're right. And in the Aquaman movie, do they do that? Do they? I mean,
they do the rings coming out of him.
Do they do the Super Friends? Whoop, 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 whoop?
Yeah, but it's more of a boom, boom, boom. It's not like a. It's not like in the Super Friends, like
right.
Or laser beamy.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, okay. So I guess that counts. But at the same time, I've always thought of Aquaman's like communication with sea life as like not him like being like a fish psychic as much as he has a way to communicate with sea life that is specific. Like, it's almost like a dolphin,
or a school of fish, like they know which way to go.
Yeah, like they're communicating in a way that we don't understand as well.
Yeah, we don't understand psychic powers, so yeah, that still fits.
I mean, okay, listen.
Tell that to the people in MK Ultra.
But yeah, so they have the visual manifestation and they have the sound effect, and I found that interesting because I'm like I said, I've never seen that before, and frankly, it's one of these things where I'm like, oh, like I'm kind of used to that. Because of being, I guess more so than anything, being an X-Men fan. But also, I mean, there's also like other, like generally speaking, in comic books, that happens all the time. Like you see some sort of visual representation, whether, like the other place that I go to when I think about that is Stormwatch, where you had like Battalion and his father that were both psychics, and you know they had like a visual representation when they used their powers, even though that happens a lot less frequent for Battalion. But you know, it's one of these things where it was like, okay, like this is interesting. Like I don't know that I've ever seen that. So usually it's just camera close-ups. So yeah, but I mean, how much of it did you get to see, Moses?
3 episodes.
3 episodes. Okay, cool.
Same spot. Okay.
Yeah.
I look, they when we talk about the effects like being a little hit or miss, but when you look at that dude, what's his Black Star?
Yeah.
Like you look at his effect and it's like, man, you know, and you know, we're talking about Invincible later. Like you see sometimes the animation's shoddy, but because later in the episode they're putting all their resources to that scene. And that's kind of how, like, I don't think they did that here too much. I think part of it is a style, but they did. Yeah. When Black Star, they have to show you Black Star, like that shit looks. I can't think of anything that's a practical effect that looks better in the modern age.
Yeah. Dude, when Black Star puts on those glasses, I laugh so hard.
Yeah, right. But that's how you know the effect.
It's right after the scene where this dude is Darkseid taking out the Justice League, and then he's there like, oh, put on my I laugh so hard.
Right, he got his granny bifocals,
and that's where it's like, you know, it's not like the comic, but that's one of those things that feels like a Millar thing. And I know last week we talked about this, and I owe Frank Quietly. Somebody mentioned it on Instagram that I fucked up and said that it was Gary Frank that drew Jupiter's Legacy, and it wasn't. It was Frank Quietly. Yeah. So in text I said that's what I said. Frank Quietly, Gary Frank Quietly. Yeah. Yeah. But that goes into my other point where part of the effects thing, or I guess the casting, but with the costumes, like the scene side, the comic, how they look in the comic and how they look in person. I mean, there's very few things that do it this well in live action. Like even it's that, like how Chloe looks in the comic,
yeah.
And the show, it's like I didn't know people looked like Frank Quietly's art.
Yeah, right.
Alien in the comic.
Right, and she looks kind of alien in the show too.
It like I do believe
like a young Juliette Lewis.
Yeah, look, Juliette Lewis could have played Chloe.
I do feel like Chloe was, which is the daughter of the Utopian, was particularly well casted, and I feel like the young lady that is bringing that character to life is doing she does a really good job of encapsulating that character. But it's wild because as somebody that read the comic, and like I've read, like I haven't been reading Jupiter Circle, which is the latest.
Nobody has
the latest latest series of book, which is actually like Moses mentioned or alluded to, is actually telling the story of how they got their powers, like what happened on this island, which is so wild because, like you mentioned, like the show is like half modern superhero drama, and then the other half is basically Lost, like Lost in like the 1930s, and it's like I found that very like interesting just because I'm like, as a person that's read the comics and like know or at least had an idea where the story might go, when I messed around and saw this stuff, and it's like I knew that Jupiter Circle is about them on this island, but I was like, oh, they're giving us this story like right off the jump, like where they're like, at least delving deeper into that than you would have if you had stuck to like the comic reading order or whatnot, and I'm like, which is kind of interesting because it's like I want to know that story, but at the same time I do know that they're taking like enough liberties with the book in regards to how they deliver that story that I'm like, as far as I know, this might be completely different in the comic when I end up reading it versus as far as like the origins of the Union. Like that might be completely different when I end up getting to read that book versus like, you know, the story of the characters in the modern day, which I know some of those are different already because, you know, I read the comics. So I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Like I don't know. Like there's some parts of it that I'm a little disappointed because there's some scenes that I'm like, oh, I really wish it would have been cool to see this or see that.
Right.
But some of those scenes pop up still where I'm just like, you know, like the scene where like you had mentioned how they fight Black Star, and there's a scene in the book that you do get that gets recreated in the show where you have like one of the heroes kind of sitting on the hill watching the battle from a distance, and he's just like, yeah, you know, I'm just here, I'm watching them go at it with this guy, you know, and he's like, he's taking it to everybody, but you know, all I do is this, so I'm not going in there yet because, you know, this fool's gonna kill me if I go in there. You know, I'm not trying to get killed. You know, and it's like that scene is really interesting and indicative of like the tone of Jupiter's Legacy, where it's just like, nah, man, like I'm not putting myself out there. And you know, these are supposed to be the superheroes of the day, but you know, some of them are kind of selfish and definitely they're not about, you know, what's best for the group. And it's like, you know, I mean, obviously, which is yeah, it's an interesting take, and the way they've decided to demonstrate that in the show is interesting. Yeah, so
I really like some of these. A lot of what unfolds in the first 3 episodes. You know, you got your superhero action, but you also have this character moments, these conversations, and I think 2021 might be a year for good superhero shit. I don't know if the shit that happened in the last year or the 2 years prior, like, kind of led to these kind of. It's almost what like. Because you kind of get those moments, you get it in here in Jupiter's Legacy a little bit, and you get it in Invincible, where the things that Snyder wanted to do but failed in Man of Steel, where he's like, Ma and Pa Kent are telling him like, you can't save everyone, or you know, you got that code, or you know, kind of guiding him as his conduit to humanity. You know what I mean? And you know, in Invincible and here you have these similar moments, and they're just executed so well, more so in Invincible than here. But in here, I only say not as good because it's not like the comics too much. So to me, that gives it a knock. That's something new. But I mean, like I said, if we're going for the comic, look, you're never gonna get the ending of that. So
you're hilarious. I mean, in fairness to Mark Millar, there has been like at least I think 3 series of Jupiter's Legacy books that have come out before this has. And you're right, though, in the latest series is in the middle, and who knows, like,
but that's the one that they're like giving you on in the TV show. Like, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, we saw it with Kick-Ass where like it was like 45 to 45 minutes, then it just went in a whole other direction.
It did, in fact, do that. That did happen.
He sells these ideas. Once he announces a new comic, he sells the movie rights, and they just do whatever they want. Now, with this, I feel like they had more of a backbone and of what they can do, but you know, we'll see where they go. And you know, we'll see like how every Wanted was the same thing, totally different than the comic.
Yeah, but I guess listen. I guess we could say like, you know, wait, what came first, Wanted or Kick-Ass?
Wanted.
Okay, so we're improving here, right? Like Wanted was nothing like the book.
Right.
Kick-Ass was like the book until a certain point, which he hadn't finished it yet, and then they did whatever they wanted in the movie. Jupiter's Legacy is not like the comic exactly, but in spirit, it has a lot of the DNA of what made that book good. And again, like I was a little bit, I guess shock's not the right word, but What I will say is, I feel like Jupiter's Legacy follows in the spirit of like The Walking Dead, like the early seasons, where it was like it kind of remixed some of the ideas from the comic, but did it in a way where it's like it feels like The Walking Dead still. It feels like Jupiter's Legacy still, but they're like, well, in this medium, we can tell you a story in a different way that you might be able to benefit from. And so, and I feel like honestly, I feel like Jupiter's Legacy is a lot more successful at that than The Walking Dead was, even in the early seasons that were some of the better ones. It's interesting because like I think one of the key points is the relationship that the Utopian has with his son Brandon. Like in the book, when you read the book, like both of his kids are basically washouts from the start. And it's like, and that's like one of those things where like the same kind of feeling that the Utopian kind of has in the show where he's like, man, I need my kids to do better. He was way more justified in that feeling in the comic because like both of them were like basically just these kids with powers that were doing nothing with their lives of substance, at least from his perspective. And you could kind of, and pretty much from anybody's perspective that's reading the book, unless, you were like a drug addict that could actually just get by, it's like, and that's the thing where it's like, unless you were like a functional drug addict, you're probably not looking at these kids in the comic like, oh yeah, they're doing good for themselves. And so, but in the story here in the series, you're like, okay, you have Chloe and the way she acts in the comic and in the show is pretty much the same. But then you have Brandon in the story, and he's like basically in his father's shadow and trying to like kind of live up to that ideal, but isn't quite halfway not sure how to do it, halfway has some ideas of his own that he's just like, well, hey, why couldn't it be different? He's like, he's trying to do what his dad's asking him to do, but not quite there. And his dad is like a little bit harder on him because of how he's afraid of what's happening with his sister. And that makes that whole dynamic a lot more relatable from every end, where you're like, I can see where the Utopian's coming from. I can see where the daughter is coming from, where Chloe's coming from. I can see where Brandon's coming from, and I can see where the mom's coming from. Like everybody kind of has like their own perspective, and you're like, hey, they feel, I guess, more like a family that or your own family. You know what I mean? Because look, Lord knows we all have, like our families are all messed up, right? So it's like, like I was like, oh, this is like it was a pleasant surprise because it feels more grounded than what's happening in the comic.
Derek H in chat says, you guys have got to get off this kick of movies / TV, not exactly mimicking the books. They are different mediums with different people executing the vision.
Isn't Millar involved with Jupiter's Legacy?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I also love how Derek H here is saying that now, the one time that we're accepting a series being different, we're just giving you the differences because we know that you, the viewer, probably didn't read Jupiter's Legacy, the comic, and maybe would be willing to go give that guy some money.
Listen,
we're doing this in the least hateful way possible.
Nobody here has said don't watch Jupiter's Legacy because it's not a comic. Like nobody's saying that. Like in fact, I what I was trying to convey was that the story is better in the TV show than in the book. And I know Derek probably missed that when I said that earlier, but I was hoping that was still coming through in what I was saying just now, in the sense that it's like, yeah, like they're doing it better.
Derek is drink.
Look, but here's the thing. Like every time I'm like, hey, it's not like the book. In my mind, I'm just like, they're making weird decisions that aren't better ones. And obviously that's all a matter of opinion, but that's what, I get paid the big bucks to talk about, is my opinion, right? Okay, the medium-sized bucks. No.
Also, I would want to mention that when it comes to like manga getting translated to anime, a lot of those are point for point and almost word for word.
Yeah.
So it's not like there's no precedent for what we're talking about.
No, dude, there's some amazing stuff that has been like very closely, directly related to the original, like to the source material.
And that brings us to our next topic.
Well, we should rate Jupiter's Legacy from what we saw, though.
Let me ask you in this term. I don't have Netflix.
Yeah.
Now. Should I get Netflix for this show?
No, you should get it for the Mitchells versus the Machines.
I don't know what the hell that
That's
is.
amazing.
The animated joint, is that good?
Yeah.
Everyone is saying it's amazing.
I've only seen the trailer and I'm like, man,
Literally just you saying it's amazing.
He says literally just you saying it's amazing.
And me. Am I on mute?
Yeah, you're drunk.
No,
you're back.
mute. We hear you. And I will say that it's high in the Netflix rating.
That's
like,
right.
in
No,
the
it's high and drunk. So,
Dude, like everyone that's like involved in animation, like almost everyone, like the big animation people, saying go see this.
Well, it's
really
it's the dudes that did Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Matt Braley, the creator of Amphibia, the creator of Gravity Falls, Alex Hirsch, is like, go see this. There was even a gas station thing where they made up a gas station to look like a set from the show or movie, and people are like, "Yeah, we got to go there." Like, I don't even need gas. I just
really.
Oh yeah.
Damn, I didn't know that. Okay, like I saw it come up on my Netflix queue, and I was like, I don't know, like it didn't look like something that I was like, oh, I gotta watch that.
You didn't watch the trailer?
I mean, I watched like maybe, I don't know, like the trailer's what? Like 45 seconds. I watched like maybe like 20 of it, and I was like,
you don't have time to watch a 45-second trailer? How busy?
It's like, it's not that I'm not. It's that it didn't hold me. I wasn't watching it like, oh man, I gotta watch this.
You lost your attention span on 45 seconds.
He was too busy watching the other Lily.
It's because the mouse wasn't there pushing him.
In any case, yeah, everyone is saying it's amazing.
Okay, I'll go check it out then. I didn't realize it was being like lauded like that.
Say the
I
name
give
again.
it 5 out of 5 just on the trailer.
Say the name again, Joe.
The Mitchells versus the Machines.
This fool said I gave it 5 out of 5 just off the trailer.
The what versus the Machines?
Mitchells. It's a last name, Mitchells. You don't know what name Mitchell?
Like, hey, I don't know who's raging against what machines these days.
Everybody.
Oh, jeez.
Look, we're all raging because they didn't look. Yeah, maybe that's for another heavy metal minute.
But I will say this. I'm on the fence, Hecht, in regards to like, if you don't have Netflix right now, I don't like. If you have Netflix, you should definitely watch Jupiter's Legacy. If you don't have Netflix, should you like reactivate your Netflix account to watch Jupiter's Legacy? I don't know. I'm on the fence. Like, there's a part of me that wants to say yes, but there's a part of me that's kind of like,
if you can get a free preview week or month, I don't know what Netflix does these days, but if you get that free, then I would just take a day.
I think Netflix, if you're gonna have like just one service or 2 or 3, I think Netflix is one of the ones to have.
Yeah, no, definitely
because at the price, even like they give you enough stuff that you're gonna enjoy, whether it's good or bad. Like, you don't have that thing where there's things clouding your judgment because it's just so much stuff comes out each week that you're gonna find something. And then
listen,
Lawrence, did it hurt for you to say Netflix over Disney Plus?
Who, me?
No,
who said Netflix over Disney Plus?
You, because most said if you're gonna have one streaming service, Netflix is the one, and you agreed.
That's not what I said.
No. He said if you're gonna have like, if you have 1, 2, or 3 streaming services, Netflix should be one of those. And yeah, absolutely. That I agree with. Now, if you're only gonna have one streaming service, Netflix is definitely one of the contenders if you're only gonna have one. But For me, yeah, I'm just happy. I would be picking Disney Plus just because.
Yeah.
That's
But
what's the stuff I want to see is on Disney Plus.
Yeah, Disney Plus doesn't give you as much as Netflix does for the.
No, it doesn't.
And I mean, you got Gilmore Girls.
Oh Jesus! You and these Gilmore Girls. Listen, I will say this: The Witcher, is right around the corner.
Yeah, the other one.
If you're gonna get Netflix for Witcher, like if Witcher, like I personally feel a Witcher is a good enough show for you to get Netflix. If you're gonna if you want to watch Witcher anyway, you should definitely just get it like a little bit early and watch Jupiter's Legacy until Witcher comes.
Midnight, what is it? What's the other one? Midnight Gospel. It's tight. There's a ton of shit like Midnight Gospel on there that you can't even see because the algorithm don't even put it to you because you keep canceling your subscription after you watch Midnight Gospel.
Hilarious. Is it
true?
Is it new season of Love, Death, and Robots too?
That's coming out. Yeah,
that's like Friday, right?
Yeah, Friday, and then look, damn it, I forgot to film that fucking Mobile. Anywho, but then there's also like the people that brought you Dark. They got another contract with them, so they're bringing another series that looks amazing, and all you see is just a bunch of people saying what's happening or where am I in like different languages. In the open ocean, and it's like, and then when you see the teaser picture, it's just like a samurai and a Victorian guy, and then like a revolutionary soldier, and they're all like, you see those accents like they're lost at sea or some shit. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but that's the beauty of it. Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what's happening. Goddamn, time to
5 out of 5.
Sons of bitches. But no, so I guess the answer, Hector, is get Netflix and watch Jupiter's Legacy. And you're gonna, even if you don't like Jupiter's Legacy, apparently you're gonna have like 6 other things that you should have been watching already. Like whatchamacallit's on there, right? Yasuke, that's out right now too, right? The friggin' Black Samurai.
Black Samurai. Yeah. You got what is it? Agretzko. You got what's that other shit? The Castlevania stuff, the Transformers. My brother didn't even call me. He finally got Netflix. He didn't call me for my birthday, but he called me the next day to tell me you got to be on that Netflix Transformers, man. That Earthrise, that War for Cybertron, man. He goes to me like he didn't say hi or happy belated birthday or nothing. He goes to me, he goes, "What was the episode of Transformers that made you a fan?" And like for me, like that made you like, man, I love this shit. And we all have that. Like I know, I go, dude, you need to be calling Larry with this bullshit. Don't call me at work. It is. And
I would talk to your brother all day about Transformers.
Dude,
easy.
Like, hey, look, he's looking for somebody to do that.
Dude, he tell him, hit me up.
Like, he got Netflix for those Transformers things because I kept telling him about the Marvel shit and all this. He never got it. Once War for Cybertron came out, he's like, I'm in. You know,
dude, the Transformers joints are amazing.
Yeah, so I told him, and he's like, "Look, every one of these War for Cybertron ones and Earthrise, like, I feel like every one of those episodes, like, is in here, like that. You get that feeling from like every episode." And I go, "I know. I watched 3 of those episodes before you did, but you know." All of a sudden, he's got the brilliant idea to watch War for Cybertron.
I'm about to sell Heck on a Netflix membership. Yeah, Selena the series.
That's pretty good. I watched one episode of that. I enjoyed it. I'm mad. Look, you're gonna be mad that I watched one episode of Selena, but I didn't get to watch Justice Society World War II.
Oh yeah, I am mad at you for that. Even though my bartender was telling me, she was like, "Oh, dude, she's like, it's so good." she was like, I watched the movie and then the series, you know, it's better because it goes more in depth and there was stuff it told me about Selena I didn't know. I was like,
you have the Celia Cruz series, the like Puerto Rican lady, and that thing's amazing.
Nobody says anything for DC.
Like I just enjoy it.
Cobra Kai's on Netflix. Wow.
Yeah, Cobra Kai. Dude, so yeah, you should get Netflix because there's a lot of stuff to watch on Netflix. Let me tell you what. You know what? Just real quick, I'm very mad at the children of today for getting
because they're children of the grave.
No, because they get this Transformers series.
Yeah,
that's so good. Like it's amazing from a narrative standpoint, and while I might be like, okay, from an animation standpoint, it's not the best animation that you're ever going to see or anything like that, but it's better than serviceable. Like, it's good animation. But the part that makes me so mad is these freaking kids can watch this show and be like, oh my God, this is amazing, which it is. And they're like, I want this in toy form. Do they have toys? And they can go to the toy store, and the goddamn toy looks just like the goddamn friggin' show. Like, literally, the character designs they use for the show are the same character designs they use for the toy. And when I say that, I mean like literally, like the models are the same for both. Like, how it transforms in the show is how it transforms in real life.
That's how Beast Wars was.
But not really, though. Like, it was close. It was close. It's better than Beast Wars. Like, it's closer. Like, because Beast Wars, trust me, I remember Beast Wars, and I had some of those toys, and I'm like, okay, well, this isn't quite that. But I'm talking about, like, from battle damage and everything. Like, it literally is the same thing. And I'm like, that's not right, man. I went through, like, so many, like, I can't tell you how many Transformers I bought, and when I got it, I was like, that's not what friggin' Brawn looks like. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, Brawn, like, I'm like, this Brawn don't even have a face. The Brawn in the show got a face.
You know why I'm mad about these kids, Larry?
So mad at them for this. Like,
you know why
it's not that I don't want them to have it, it's that I should have had it too. That's what I'm saying.
You know why I'm mad at them, Larry?
Why?
Because they have this, and then they'll still be okay with the Michael Bay movie.
Oh, that is a weird thing too. That is a weird thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Jupiter's Legacy.
It stars Transformers star.
Yeah. I would give it
Lawrence might like him because he was married to Fergie.
I don't know who. Listen, you're saying it. I'm like, who? Like, you? I don't know anyone that's in Transformers except for maybe in the first one.
Yeah,
was he in the first one?
Yeah.
Which? Okay, so who is he?
He's not in the first one. He's just in Last Night.
Josh Duhamel?
Yeah, he's just in Last Night. That's the only one he's in.
He wasn't a military guy in the first one.
No, that was another random military guy.
No, it wasn't.
It was Josh Duhamel?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So
that's the only one I saw. So,
who is he in the first one?
He was one of the guy that fought Scorponok.
I mean, I thought the guy that fought. Wait, Tyrese is in the first one, right?
Yeah, he's the guy next to Tyrese.
That's that guy?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I apologize to everybody. I didn't think we were going to get on this kind of tangent.
Yeah, like you should apologize, heck. You should. How dare you ask questions about Jupiter's Legacy's worthiness to watch if you should get Netflix? You see what you did?
Well,
damn. How long ago was that?
That's like 20 years ago.
Did the first Transformers movie come out 20 years ago?
Nah, it was like 15.
Yeah.
Did it come out 15 years ago?
Nah, it was like 12.
Look, he looks like a kid there.
And he was already old as fuck there.
Really?
The first Bayformers was in 07.
Damn. Look, we barely knew each other in 07, right?
Well, we had started Fantastic Four. I think one of the first things we talked about was like predictions of these Michael Bay movies.
No, because I thought we didn't start Fantastic Four until 07.
No, we started. The first episode was in 06, and then
got you.
We did a couple episodes at the beginning of 07.
Got you. Okay. Damn, I didn't even realize that was the same guy. Like, I remember that guy, but he's so young, or he looks younger there. And, you know, he looks like, I mean, he doesn't look like super old, but he looks grown.
Yeah.
He looks grown. Like, he looked like life happened to him.
Yeah. He's a grown-ass man.
Did I give a rating for Jupiter's Legacy or not?
No one's giving a rating for Jupiter's Legacy.
I was trying
to do that.
I give it a 3.5. It is good. I only saw 3 episodes. It can go up. maybe look for a Fantastic Four in one shot. If you subscribe, hit the bell, whatever. I might do it whenever I have the time to finish it. I might give you a complete. But this is a 3.5 with an asterisk, close to 4. I really like the character moments and the dynamic and the performances of the people, the chemistry they all have together. I think they put.
Yeah.
If they would have put that much work to I'm sorry. If Mark Millar would have put that much work into finishing the comic, I think it would have been a great thing. But they put it in the casting here. I don't want to say
You're
that
hilarious.
they put that much work to make it like the comic because they got nothing to work with.
You're so crazy. Oz, what would you rate Jupiter's Legacy?
4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Just because the current day stuff is a little bit generic to me, but the past stuff is amazing, and I'm totally into that story. I've only seen 3 episodes though.
Right.
I'm at the same point as Mo.
Yeah,
it could go up, it could go down.
And I watched it in Spanish.
There it is.
Damn.
How do you say Jupiter's Legacy in Spanish?
I don't know. They don't say they don't really say, because that doesn't really never really say that, right? The actors?
No, they don't.
So, I mean, I only hear what they say, so
yeah,
it's not like you have like you have an announcer saying "Legacia de Júpiter." They don't have that.
That's hilarious. Jay, do you want to give it a rating, even though you haven't seen it?
No, I'll abstain.
Fair, that's fair. That's fair. What about you, Heck? Do you want to give it a rating, even though you
don't want to rate? You don't want to rate the trailer?
No, I'll abstain.
Okay.
Do you want to rate a review of it?
I would give the review of it a 4 out of 5. Like,
woo! I'll take it. Like, I was afraid Jay's gonna give us like a 2.5.
It's a little weird, but I think you guys did a good job of saying what the show is about, and you've got me interested.
Yeah. Woo! I would rate Jupiter's Legacy a 4.5 out of 5, and the only thing that makes it not a 5 for me was just a little bit of like the choices they make effects wise. From a narrative perspective, it's great. Full disclosure, I saw the whole half of the thing though, so like I think that I do believe that both Oz and Mo, once they finish, will give it a higher rating because it gets better and better and better.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I got to see Lloyd today, and I talked to him about it, and I told him the differences, and even like with Brandon, and he's like, well, you know, that could still happen. Yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
Like they're almost giving you like the origin of Brandon the way he is in the comics here, which could be a good thing, you know?
Yeah, no, like, yeah. Like Lloyd is on point.
That's my Robert De Niro. It could be.
Some point.
I'm gonna review Mo's impression and give it 5 out of 5.
There it is. Good job.
I can hide now.
Lloyd is probably too smart for that.
Lloyd's too smart for us.
Yeah,
but you know, he keeps me leveled. Otherwise, I'd be on the short bus.
Listen, I think y'all should speak for yourselves. I think I'm right here with Lloyd. Like Lloyd, I feel Lloyd.
Look, you can feel how you want to feel, but that don't make it true.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, listen, that's fair.
Like I know you and I know Lloyd.
Listen. Look, Lloyd messed around and told Mo exactly what I was thinking. I was like, damn it, Lloyd, get out of my head, Lloyd.
So what do you do next?
Let's do can we jump into a heavy metal minute and then go into Justice Society? Is that a good?
All right.
Yeah, let's play.
Yeah, let's do that. What'd you say?
Let's play that minute first.
And in other awesome heavy metal news, there is Heroes Reborn #1. Now that's comics, I know. This isn't Fantastic Forum, this is Fraction of Forever. FF still, but you get the point. But, you know, I always love when heavy metal and comics mix. So
Heroes Reborn #1 came out, and right on page 7 or so, you see a picture of Thor all grizzled and, drinking beer from a horn, no less. And he's wearing an Amon Amarth shirt. The very god of thunder himself is wearing an Amon Amarth shirt. So, as a fan of Amon Amarth myself, I was happy to see it. I can only imagine what Johan and the boys felt when they saw it. And, if you know Amon Amarth, you know their lyrical content's all about the Norse gods and the pantheon and the adventures. And, they even made a shirt where the Amon Amarth deity was beating up the Avengers. That was their 2014, I believe, Comic-Con exclusive shirt for the Nuclear Blast booth. And there's always been this kind of connection. I know when they were casting the Thor movie, I was like, oh, they should play Amon Amarth in the movie, at least the music. Because I would have liked for Johan to be Thor. Especially with the characterization they've given Thor, the more playful, funny, type. I think Johan would have done a good job, but he doesn't have the full power of Chris Hemsworth, so it's only a dream for me. And maybe Johan, I don't know if he's even interested. But seeing that shirt gave my little metal heart a 2 sizes bigger. Because it's like, I was happy to see it's something I've always wanted to see. Now, if only we can get an Amon Amarth song in the next Thor movie. Talking to you, Taika Waititi, make it happen. Twilight of the Thunder God, at least for the end credits. That'd be the shit. I would like that. Would you? I'm Luz Magnum. This has been a Heavy Metal Video.
Good job, Mo.
Yeah, got my horn right here.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. So let's talk about Justice Society World War II. This is the latest DC animated film. The story is basically modern day Flash, aka Barry Allen, ends up meeting up with the Justice Society in World War II. And he's helping them fight Nazis in the Second World War. The Justice Society is comprised of Wonder Woman, Hawkman, Black Canary, Hourman. Damn it, who am I forgetting?
The Flash.
Oh, and Golden Age Flash, right? Damn it. Steve. Well, yeah, I guess we should count Steve Trevor too. You're right. But yeah, Golden Age Flash, Steve Trevor. And
Shakespeare.
Oh, okay. What? And yes, I mean, and their embedded reporter Shakespeare, like they're there to spin the stories so no one knows that that superheroes are out here helping the war effort. And so it's basically about Barry Allen Flash helping them out as he tries to find his way back home. So real quick, Mo, I know you mentioned you didn't get to see it.
Yeah. I'll give it 5 out of 5.
Got it. Fair. Good job.
I woke up early to lift weights, and I had the press copy, and I only had a limited amount of time, so I actually watched it on fast forward. So I couldn't hear any of it, but I just watched all the events play out, and I'd still give it about a 5 out of 5.
Got it. Jay, why don't you give me your overall take before we get into the conversation? What did you think of Justice Society World War II?
I thought it was pretty good. Like, I like the character moments, which seems to be the bulk of this. Well, not the bulk, but a fair amount. I thought the action was amazing. The fight sequences are creative. Flash in particular has a really good one where he's like going fast and everything else is slow motion. Yeah, overall, and the story's like pretty good. Like, I enjoyed it.
Cool. Oz, overall, what you think?
Overall, I enjoyed it. I have a lot of problems with the characters in it, but the story that they told was still good. When we actually get into it, I'll expand on that. Overall, it's a good movie that I would recommend to people.
Got you. And I will say that overall, yeah, I thought it was actually really good too. It did have some interesting take on characters, and I did like the art style. Like there were, it kind of had like it used some of those like hard black lines that like, or I guess it's I don't know what the style is actually called, and you all might be able to help me, but later with it. But overall, the art style was interesting. I do agree in the sense that the action was good and the story overall was interesting and pretty compelling. So yeah, I did like it too. So let's get into it, folks. Oz, you just mentioned you definitely had some thoughts about, I guess, was it character selection, like which characters they chose to use, or was it okay?
It's a great retelling of a Flash of Two Worlds, but it bugged me that they put Wonder Woman in it, and it bugged me that Superman is in it. And
now,
I feel like this Flash should have already known who Wonder Woman is and would recognize her. I think they should have had Alan Scott leading the team. Maybe you have so many other characters you could have had other than Wonder Woman to lead this team that maybe a Barry Allen wouldn't be familiar with because they're not known in his era, and it would have really gone more with the he's time traveling aspect that they go with. I just feel like he should have known who Wonder Woman is at that point in his career. He's been the Flash for a few years at that point.
How do you know?
Because they say it.
But if Diana hasn't left the island yet, there would be no reason for him to know her.
Okay. But she has.
How do you know?
How do you know?
Because Superman's been around for a while.
No, but see, Superman comes first, though.
Right, and then Wonder Woman and Batman.
See, it's interesting. Like,
he should have known Wonder Woman. She shouldn't have been part of that team. I can let the Black Canary slide, even though like I don't think she should have been in there because I like her pairing up with Green Arrow. But I can let that slide. But I mean, either Starman, definitely Alan Scott should have been in. Dr. Midnight. There's a lot more characters that should have been there.
All I hear is Oz wanting to replace all the women with men. That's all I hear.
The thing is, from a comic book perspective, I know I didn't watch this, but if you're trying to do a Justice Society World War II, because that happened in the comics, it was Wonder Woman that fought the Nazis, not even Superman. Like, I'm surprised to see that Superman was in it.
I think that's the only reason Wonder Woman was in it was because they were going to bring in Superman.
No, like the comics, she fought the Nazis.
No, I'm talking about the cartoon.
But I'm talking about like that's why she's in it in the cartoon.
Right, but for this animated series, I think one of the other Prodigy members should have been in there, not Wonder Woman. The way this story is told, Wonder Woman should have been somebody that the Flash knew and somebody that he could tell Superman, hey, while we're teaming up, these are some people we should maybe look at too.
I will say
there's no evidence that Wonder Woman left the island yet. Like, there's no.
I'm not saying there is. I'm just saying there should be.
No, but I it's interesting because this is one of the things that I found. I won't say strange, but
there's no in this movie. There's no evidence that Batman exists. There's no evidence that Green Lantern exists. But we assume that they do in this world, right?
No, but this is the thing. No, I did. But the reason the thing that I was like, oh, it's an interesting choice is it feels like the beginning of this movie, or I guess just say the beginning, but the present day Barry Allen Flash stuff, right? Which is feels like it's set in our modern world is a modern world, but where these heroes are still in the early development of their careers. So it's like you said, it's like today, but Flash has only been around for a year or two. It's
Right.
like he doesn't even know Superman personally, it feels like. Like when they meet in the modern day, it's not like he and Superman are like necessarily friends or anything more than like they know of each other and that's it, you know? And that doesn't necessarily mean that there is no Batman or they don't know Batman or know of him, but it's, you know, Batman being who Batman is, it feels as though like neither of them have probably met Batman yet. And I feel like that's the same thing.
The way Jay's saying it, the only two heroes in this universe is Superman and Flash, because
Yeah,
that's
and
the two heroes we know about.
And I don't think that that's the case. Oh, what'd you say, Jay?
I don't think that was necessarily what I was saying.
Right.
I mean,
But-
there's no evidence of any other hero.
Exactly.
So then they might not exist. Just like we don't have evidence that Wonder Woman left the island.
No.
We don't have any evidence that Batman exists. We don't have evidence that there's a Green Lantern Corps. We don't have any evidence that Martian of any other guy.
But I feel like that was kind of. Oh, go ahead, Jay.
When you talk about the Green Lantern Corps, most of them are in space, so we wouldn't have them on Earth. We would have maybe a Green Lantern. But the thing about this, to me, like the major thing that makes me call into question the relationships of superheroes in this world is the fact that Barry's never heard of a team, like a team of superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which means there's no Justice League.
Right, there's no Justice League. I feel like once you have Batman, once you have Wonder Woman, once you have all these other heroes, you're getting the team ups more frequently, and it's not an odd thing to see multiple heroes teamed up together.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think that that's one of the things that this movie did subtly, but I think it was enough where they're like, "Hey, just so you know, like everybody isn't connected yet," and it like what you see in the present day is enough for you to kind of, at least for me, like I was like, "Oh, Superman and the Flash don't like know each other, like, you know, it's like." He was kind of hoping to run into him. And, you know, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, it basically, it seems like we saw their first team up. And, you know, and so it's like, if that's the first time Superman and the Flash have teamed up, that probably means that the other, and we know there's no Justice League. It's like, that probably means the other heroes might be operating in their other, like, respective corners of the world, whether you're talking about Gotham or Earth space, or, you know, sector 2814, or, you know, off in the islands, you know, maybe Wonder Woman's on Themyscira, maybe she's off Themyscira in America, but not anywhere that anyone, you know.
She might be in Washington, D.C.
Right. I mean, you know, but the fact is, it's kind of like it set up the idea that it's like, okay, these people aren't familiar with each other basically right from the beginning. But it's interesting that they decided to do that in what seems to be a relatively modern era. It seems like it's today. The only thing, like, you know, it's at least, you know, it's soon enough for there to be an interracial couple, you know, and that's okay, you know, like, which who knows, like, look, I guess technically there's still places you can go where that's a problem, you know, but I'm saying it's soon enough where that doesn't feel like it's a weird thing. So it's like, okay, I guess no one technically pulled out a cell phone, right?
Well, Iris has only been black for a little while, right?
I mean, that's true, but, you know.
So
yeah.
at least from that point, which I feel like it was in the early 2000s that happened.
is that when the Flash series came out in the early 2000s? It's not like in the 2010s somewhere.
Yeah, like 2015.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah.
early enough in the century.
No, dude, that's not how early 2000s work. Like the 2010s is a
Look,
different era.
In the
You can't say not.
2100s, when they say the early 2000s, it's going to be around 2015.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
By then we'll be rubble.
Barney.
So, but I will say that, you know, I didn't have an issue with Wonder Woman leading like the Justice Society. It's definitely not, you know, like a traditional version of the Justice Society, but it's like I think most point is really valid in the sense that, you know, if you're gonna have the Justice Society fighting Nazis, it's like Wonder Woman is who fights Nazis. You know, or at least from the DC perspective. You know? And so yeah, I mean it fit really well. Like it's not like it didn't feel odd or out of place to me. I do think Black Canary was probably the member that probably felt like the most like, oh, like I don't remember her being in that era, but at the same time, like the character itself was awesome. Like it's not Black Canary, but it was an awesome depiction of the character.
If you have a team fighting Nazis, you don't think a Starman who looks like a bootleg Captain America with a magic staff would kind of fit that role?
Not better than Wonder Woman.
I mean, alongside Wonder Woman, but who's gonna want to watch a movie with Starman leading it?
You're right. That's why I would rather have Alan Scott, but also have Starman.
Who's gonna watch that too? Like they're gonna watch Wonder Woman. What? Even with a shitty movie, she's on people's minds, and it's comics accurate. So what the fuck more do you want?
I will say, or I will ask this question because what do you say, Jay?
I know what I want.
What do you want?
I want for Stanakatic to sound different. Like
that accent was a little Russian for my taste.
Yeah, it reminds me of Ivan Drago. Like I was really waiting for her to say, I must crush you now. Like
I will break you. Yeah, I will break you. Listen, I that's literally what I was just about to ask. Like I was like, is this the first time we've ever got an animated Wonder Woman with an accent?
I mean, she starts talking now. I'm like, what is Americans trust her?
Wait, and who's playing her?
Stanakatic.
Who's that?
She was Lois Lane in Superman Unbound.
Really?
Yeah, and she was fun in that. Like, so it's the director, the person directed her did it wrong.
Got you. Because it's like, I mean, obviously they're trying to like go with the Gal Gadot kind of thing.
That's
like,
probably what the character said. Hey, sound like Gal Gadot.
Right. And I mean, I understand why you make that choice. At the same time, I'm like, yeah, like this is not going over as well as any of us would hope. Like it's like, and I think that a part of it is just like, I mean, Gal Gadot is doing that because that's what Gal Gadot sounds like, and she, I mean, she does it well. Like it fits when she's doing it. In like animated wise, I was like, and I'm not even saying that she needs to sound like American. Like, you know, she can have an accent as Wonder Woman, but I don't think it should be that one.
It shouldn't be Russian.
I don't know if I would call it Russian, but it's something that's not like, it's something in between. Like, and the messed up part is the performance is good. Like the performance is good outside of the accent. Like it's good enough that I know at a certain point I just stopped hearing the accent, but at certain points it would come back where she would say like one thing, and because I had forgotten that accent was happening anymore because she wasn't talking, and then she says like one thing, and I'm like, oh yeah, like I forgot, like we're doing this.
Yeah, because it's not every line. Like every line doesn't sound bad, but there are just certain times where the Ivan comes out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's not good.
She's drawn like she could break you too.
Yeah, no, she whatchamacallit, like
the design, like design and the costume.
I mean, it works. It's just like, man, whew, he's been hitting the gym.
And again, like love for action scenes, like where she's like just hitting people and they're ricocheting off walls and shit.
Yeah,
like, very cool.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, speaking of which, there was a moment where Flash, Barry Allen Flash, is fighting the Nazis, and actually, this is one of the scenes you were talking about, Jay, where you had him like basically them doing the super speed thing, but he's basically moving at a more regular rate, and everybody around him is moving slower, and he does the thing where, or he does, I should say the thing, but he does a thing where he punches one of the Nazis, but he doesn't actually hit him. And he just like, he pulls the punch. And of course, because he's moving at super speed, the shock wave is enough to like knock the hell out of this dude. And I'm like, oh, that's so good. Like, you know, I'm like, I don't understand why we don't see more of that.
Yeah, definitely. Like that is one place this thing excels, is the action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was cool because he did like, you know, we've seen that before in live action, and I think we've seen it other places animated before. And he did a lot of the stuff that you're used to seeing in the live action animated stuff. And you know, it was great to see because it's like, no, that's all cool stuff. It's kind of classic speedster type stuff. But that at the end was like the little piece de resistance where he messed around and pulled the punch at the end, and I'm like, oh, that's so good. And of course, they featured it because they're like, no, this is like we're adding to the speedster lore here. Like they're like, we'll give you this for free, you know. And now the rest of it, like I know somebody else is gonna do well if they're smart. Somebody down the line is going to be doing that in live action, and some people are going to be like, oh, it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. No one's ever done that before. And I'll be like, you know, no. Yeah, so I was like, that was really cool. I liked that a lot. Yeah. So I also, a thing that I thought was interesting that had its own take, but was still very familiar in a way too, was, of course, the relationship between Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor. Like, I felt like it was a familiar thing. Of course, we all know this relationship happens and exists, but I felt like the way that they did it here, I was like, oh no, that's kind of cool. Like it felt really good, and it felt like a nice, playful way to kind of have them do their relationship thing, but without it having to be like the main part of the narrative necessarily, you know?
Right. Another thing that gets done a lot that they did in this that I thought they did really well was there'll be parts, let's say like a couple parts, where Flash speaks in slang, and you have like Steve Trevor like kind of deciphering it on the fly.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty cool. And you know, a lesser movie would have like overdone it.
Right.
But they do it just like a couple times, like really smooth and at good places. Like,
right.
At one point, you know, you talk about the relationship between Steve and Wonder Woman, where he's like proposing to her every day, waiting for her to say yes. And Flash is like, I didn't take you for a stalker. And Steve is like, stalker? You mean like a cat, a wolf? Like,
Right. No, you're right. It was good stuff, and it was just enough, and done in clever ways.
See that I mean, that's done very well because it kind of feels real. Like it feels like that's how you would in your head figure out what is he saying that quickly. It's not like I don't understand your futuristic language.
Right. You're right.
Like it's like, oh, I guess because I'm old now and I gotta understand kids. So when they say something like that, I do the same thing where it's like, oh, okay, so you mean this, blah blah blah. Okay, you just called me an asshole.
Hilarious. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff indeed. So,
y'all sold me on it. You're gonna have to see it now.
oh, dude, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Without spoiling anything, because we want to make sure people get to experience this joint. Did you all see the twist coming?
I did not.
I didn't either.
I enjoyed that. That actually is something I enjoyed. Like, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it honestly, it like really fits into the ending and the beginning.
Yeah.
Like it makes it work. It brings it together in a really good way.
Yeah.
I suspected because of the. I suspected. I'm going to leave it at that, so I don't spoil it.
Yeah.
I suspected, and when the package is handed over, I got the confirmation because I kind of saw what was in that bag. Okay.
Yeah. No, I didn't have any clue until that moment. And I was like, and for me, I was kind of like impressed by that because I was like, wow, like I usually see this stuff coming like usually pretty soon. And so I was just like, oh.
When the dude holds up that bag, I saw just enough that boom, I knew, okay, I know what's happening now.
Yeah, and that it was wild. The way that was all done was done really well to me, where I was just like,
well, I saw that. I couldn't figure out how. Like I knew it was in the package, but I couldn't figure out the how of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
So you saw the same thing I saw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering why. Like I had theories, but in the end, it turned out to be something different.
Yeah. So
and that was a twist for me.
Yeah, I feel like the movie in and of itself on its own is definitely worth checking out, but that aspect of it was actually really like anytime a movie can actually surprise me with something, I like that. That's usually a plus. At least when it surprises me with something other than how bad it is. Oh my god, I can't believe this happened. It's like, how did I end up here? I know, like, my god.
Right.
But yeah, this so yeah. Jay, why don't you go ahead and give me your rating, man, for Justice Society World War II?
I would give it a 4 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. I really enjoyed it. I love the action. I like the character moments. I kind of wish there was more. I really wish they had. I don't even know if it would have gotten, like, it probably would have gotten clunky, but I do wish we saw more of these characters and like more story, like more. Yeah, just I wish we'd gotten more. Like
that's fair. I mean, the movie itself, I think, is like just under an hour and a half. It's definitely like it's not. Like just under an hour and a half. So
right.
It's definitely not pulling the full 90 minutes or whatever. But
like everything is done very succinctly. Like you get just enough. But
yeah,
I would have liked more.
Right.
Like you get enough to carry a movie, but I do wish we had gotten deeper.
Yeah. And it feels like they almost like, I mean, if they wanted to set this up as like, you know, the new like DC animated, like, you know, I don't know about extended, but you know, like the connected DC animated universe, like they totally could do it with these characters, like the version. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Oz, what would you rate Justice Society World War II?
4 out of 5. All my issues with it, nobody else cares. It's just me.
That's fair. I understand your pain.
It's a well told story, and it's well animated. It looks good, and it's a good. Yeah, it's 4.
Yeah, I would give it 4.5. I liked it a lot. You know, I think the only thing that might be keeping it from a 5 for me is just that, you know, some of the characters, you know, they take some liberties with like the characterizations of certain characters, and you know, I can, you know me, I feel like I'm sure that there are Justice Society fans out there that are like, oh man, nobody's acting like how they're supposed to act, and I feel for those people. You know, so that's the only, like, me having that thought in my head of like, and knowing like I'm not a huge Justice Society fan, but I know enough about them that I'm like, okay, some of these people aren't acting like, you know, like necessarily as true to character as maybe they should be. And so I feel for that crowd, and I'll take that half a point for y'all, but that's all I can do. Like, it's good, it's fun, and you know, hopefully it's not so bad that you can enjoy it too. So yeah. All right, let's go ahead and jump into Invincible. I mean, Invincible, of course, is the Amazon Prime series based on the comic of the same name by Robert Kirkman and Cory Walker originally. It's the story of Mark Grayson, who's the son of the world's greatest superhero, Omni-Man, and it's basically about his coming of age as he develops his powers and is trying to basically like live up to his father's legacy. And yeah, and then hilarity ensues. So what did you all think of Invincible as a series? Season 1, of course, has concluded, and you know, I know that I'm pretty sure at this point. Wait, Oz, did you read any Invincible? I don't remember.
I read a couple issue here and there, but I never actually like read the whole story.
Got it. Okay. Well, Moses, man, why don't you give us your thoughts on Invincible as a series for season 1?
Look, I think it's one of the most perfect adaptations, not because it's like the comic panel to page, but it just creates those moments that you just love on the page and it brings them to life. Like, I mean, I'm a spoiler at the end when Mark's getting his ass beat by his dad and he just goes like that, and then that's like an actual comic book cover, and it's like, dude, and it's like the show really just tried to preserve the art style. It's not, you know, there's a lot of blood in it and it's still not as bloody as the comic, but dude, it's you know, there's some moments in here that it's like I can understand. Look, if Joe watched and read Jupiter's Legacy and he had the criticisms he had just on the trailer, I could understand him being like, you know what, you don't even have to say what he said. He could have said the bar was raised higher by Invincible.
Yeah,
that's it. This is a high bar for comic adaptations, and amazing. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I didn't know this before we went into or before, you know, I was doing some research. But Cory Walker was actually the character designer for the show too.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow, like no wonder everybody looks just like the comic. Like, it's like they got the comic guy to do the character design. Goddamn. What's this? What's this, CJ?
Derek H in chat says Invincible doesn't have a single standard romantic relationship. Cis white male.
Isn't Mark Grayson in a standard relationship with Amber?
He's
in an interracial
yeah
relationship, and he's mixed.
Right.
Okay, Rex Flode, he has relationships with several women.
Yeah, mixed.
Well, what? No, Rex Flode is what?
It's
He's
like Greek,
isn't he?
Huh?
He's played by a Greek, but he's a white guy, right?
I don't know.
He's a little dark in the show. I don't know what he's. He's brown in the show. He's colored brown. I just don't know. What
Olive skin.
Does he have that Hulk Hogan tan?
He might. Yeah, he might.
But he also has red hair, so I don't know.
Rex Splode and Adam Eve might count. That might count, but at the same time, it's kind of short lived too, right? So
right.
they're like, we didn't mean for this to happen.
It lived in the story, but they were in a relationship for like a couple of years at that point.
I mean,
if Rex isn't white, I don't know, but you also have Rudy and Monster Girl.
Yeah.
Like their relationship has started by the end of the first season.
But he's also in a explode body, so I mean,
we don't know what nationality that fool was.
Well, he was white. Like when we see him, he's white in the jar.
He's white with a Hulk Hogan tan. That's what we're
so
doing.
So wild. Jay, what did you think of Invincible?
Just fucking amazing. Goddamn near perfect, despite all the differences, despite the lack of philosophy, taking out story elements. It's perfect. Like, despite all that, I mean, when we start getting adult animated action shows, Invincible is going to be what paved the way for that. Like, when we get some non-comedy, like, just full adult animated action shows, it's going to be because of Invincible.
This is up there with any live action drama that like wins all the awards. You're like your Mad Men, your Breaking Bad. Like it's super character driven, and the animation just makes it easier to do special effects right. Yeah.
Oh my god, the fucking train! Like,
Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
And you guys, I knew you guys were behind me. So, but when I saw that on that Friday, like, oh my god, like I was like physically, it affected me. Like,
it's so messed up. It's so messed up. And here's the part that's messed up is I don't think I could have watched that in live action.
I don't.
And
think
so there's
executed it.
Huh?
I don't think they could have executed it right.
I mean, you're probably right about that too, right? Like the live action version of that would not have been as cool as the animated version. I agree with you on that. But watching it animated, I was just like, oh my god! Like I was like and like to have a visceral reaction to like I haven't had like I haven't had a visceral reaction to something I've seen animated like that for years. I feel where it's like because I've become a little bit desensitized to stuff in animation, but I was just like, damn, like this, and it's just like the way that and the other part of it is like. I mean, the animation itself, of course, of how that's happening and how they show it to you, like not just how they animate it, but like the angles they choose and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. That on itself is like masterfully done, where you're just like, wow, like I can't believe how they did this. But then all the like voice acting, like all of the actors that are portraying those, which is crazy because it's not like they're saying a lot, but what they're saying is like just so poignant and so like in that moment, like even just like the way that's right. No, I'll just Steven Yeun's like his exclamations as he's experiencing that. I'm just like, dude, this fool is so good. And you know, I can't even give J.K. Simmons any more props. I'm done. I'm done with talking about how good this fool is.
My boy, I always get mad when you guys tell me Walton Goggins isn't in things. He's in this, and I didn't realize it was him.
Yeah, oh, you didn't know that was him?
We talked about that.
We did.
We talked like I know I personally mentioned how great he was as Cecil.
Yeah.
Like, man, he's
look. You ever want to watch something on Netflix? Watch The Unicorn. He's on there. It's great.
It's his show, so yeah.
Yeah. And he plays a guy.
Oz, give us your take on Invincible, man.
I think it's I didn't read all the books. I read a few, so I have a general idea what's going on. But the show itself is amazing. We talked a little bit about it last week, and I really only have one criticism, and that's, you know, a government agency that's been working with a superhero for years, knows he's bulletproof, but goes at him with like regular ass guns. Kind of like that didn't sit well with me, especially considering that later on in that same episode, the dude comes out with like a laser gun that actually could do some damage to a super person. That's my only criticism of what is it, like 10 episodes? And they're hour episodes too. It's not like it's a thing.
No, I'm actually mad that they're not 20-minute bullshit because literally, like, we're supposed to go on the air at 6:30, and I finished it at 6:33. Like that's one of the ones. Like I fucked up and couldn't watch Justice Society, but I'm like, I'm fucking finishing Invincible.
It's one of the few times where I get to the point, like it's probably been 20 minutes, and I'm thinking, okay, this is gonna end soon, and then I look and I'm like, oh man, I'm like halfway done. I'm kind of mad because I got stuff to do, but at the same time, it's like, oh sweet, I got another 25 minutes to go. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I don't know, like, I mentioned this before, but I don't know what happened. But for some reason, I was thinking that like the episode, the second to last episode, was like the finale.
It feels like a finale.
Right? No, absolutely. And I was just like, oh well, gotta wait till next season. And then, like, I literally had a conversation with a friend of mine on the Saturday after the finale came out. And he was like, you saw the finale? I'm like, oh, yeah, I saw the finale last, I didn't say last week, but I'm like, yeah, I saw the finale. And he started talking about stuff. And I was like, that didn't happen. He's like, did you not watch the finale? And I'm like, I did. And he's like, and I'm like, yeah, like, that's when I was like last week. He's like, no, the finale came out yesterday. And I'm like, wait, what? And man, it felt like Christmas. I was like, I got a whole nother episode of Invincible to watch, and then I watched it, and I was just like, "Oh, dude!" I was like,
and
"My God, Jesus Christ!" I was like, I would like, and that was the messed up part where I was like, I would have been satisfied with like what I had seen. I was perfectly okay with that. Like, I didn't need, or in my like, I didn't need that last episode. But so when I got it, I was just like, "Oh, dude!" I was like, I can't even like. I'm just like, what? How are these fools going to start the next season? It's amazing. This is an amazing show.
Kind of where I earlier, the whole writer tries doesn't know how to career, so he tries to do these things like the collateral damage thing. You know,
wait, you're Max Hedgending, Mo. Wait, say it. You're better now. Say it again. Start over.
You sound like me.
You do sound like Oz.
Oh, outrighty and shit. No, so you know how like I brought up earlier that Snyder tries to deconstruct heroes in his Snyderverse, and he doesn't do it quite right. And these other things are proving where he fucked up. This is the prime example. Is Invincible, where you have the conversation in earlier on when he's like trying to was it the Titan? He teams up with the Titan, and you have that just conversation where Ma and Pa Kent are telling Superboy, well, you can't do this, and you can't, and he's like, well, and the mom's like, well, you have to save people, like if you can't, like, there's not beneath you, and even the whole concept of like Omni-Man having that little bit of elitism on who he protects and things, like it plays into later on, but it's like it's still like a warped way of looking at it. And look, the way the world's gone in the last 5 or so years, like I'm kind of with Omni-Man. but it's hard. It's something that you can't do unless you're like a Thanos, because Omni-Man couldn't even do it. You got to be. So it's something that we can just beat off thinking about that could happen. But sorry, that's for a different show. But
let's check in with chat real quick. We got Derek Gates says they got away with saying Omni-Man kept an Asian lady as a pet.
That did happen.
Which,
yeah,
that did happen.
Tiger Con chat says there's a scene in Invincible that has become the meme. Which, that's a pretty good one.
What's the meme?
The think mark. People.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah, we've just been like replacing them with other characters and situations.
Yeah.
Like, they're pretty good.
The best one is where they put Spider-Man because it's J. Jonah Jameson. Like,
And Derek Gay says Adam Eve is basically the blue guy from Watchmen, but with boobies. Almost. Her powers don't work on people. Like, she can change things, but she can't do it on organic matter. Or not organic
and
matter.
Those shorts are
do it on people. So she can do stuff to things, not really people, unless her limit break has been reached.
Like Dr. Manhattan in the movies, like had a more accurate costume than she did.
And I have
get a bikini wax,
I have that. Well, I guess I can't play you the video, but we'll get to that later. But back to my deconstruction thing, so I can finish that thought. This series does it like from episode to episode. These beautiful deconstructions of superheroes and giving you this character-driven story, and where they do it in one season. They do it better and more than Zack Snyder tried to with all the DC universe. Like they literally fought like the ending. They fought with their words while they had an action scene where Wonder Woman 1984 failed fighting with their words. You know what I mean? And it was even less words in Invincible. There was a lot of action, but really, if they chose to like not do the action and just do the conversation, it would have been just as impactful with Invincible. And so you see these people trying to do these things that happen in comics, using these. Maybe I don't know if they see these things as like, oh, I'm gonna do this with Superman, and they don't know how to do it. And you got your Kirkmans, your Millars, your Morrisons. That these are the students that you should be talking to if you're a Zack Snyder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is like how Joe said, it's the benchmark for adult animation. And I know like Joe has a bias for animation, he prefers that. For me, I feel like it's an easier way to get doing things on a less budget, and it can still be just as good. It can still be amazing. Not a lot of it is.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem, Like what is it? Was that movie the one To Die For or whatever? Your second life or your final life or whatever? Like
to your last death.
To your last death, yeah. Like that was an easy way to get a good cast to do an animated movie because you didn't have the budget to do it live action, and it didn't hit the marks. And Invincible like it set a new benchmark.
Indeed. Like, I just hope people take notice in a real way, just because, like, and I don't know how popular the show like actually is. I don't know if Amazon
Well, the fact that it got renewed for 2 more seasons, speaks highly of an animated show.
I have anecdotal evidence on how impactful and popular it is, and successful, and the quality is that Emily says we have to watch Invincible, right? And then I told Lloyd that, and he's like, his girlfriend Alana is like, we have to watch Invincible tonight, right? Like that, it's must-see television. It's water television among a broad spectrum of demographic. I'm not saying that just because it's women, but it usually like that doesn't really happen. And even with Jupiter's Legacy, like Emily saw the trailer, and she's like, "Have you seen the trailer for this?" Like, I've read the comic. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I want to see it. She's like, I want to see it too. You know, I got ahead of her and watched it for the show, but I made sure to only watch a small section of it so that we could enjoy it together. But the part of these character-driven stories in adaptations is we're gonna start seeing a little bit of appeal across different demographics, and I think we're gonna see a lot more successful versions of them if they're done right.
Yeah, like here's hoping, man, because Invincible. Yeah,
did Nina watch Invincible?
Yeah.
What did she think?
Loved it.
Yeah. How about Oz? Did Amber watch Invincible?
No, because it's too gory.
Okay. That's one of the things. That's one of the things that Lloyd said too. Like she wanted to watch it even with the because she, I've never met anybody that doesn't like gore other than Larry, and I guess I've met Amber before, and yeah, I've never hung out with her.
Amber has in real life seen a man get shot with a shotgun at close range.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Gore is like she tries to stay away from bring back memories.
That's why look, I'm not telling her how to live, but that's why movie and animated shit should be easier because you can spot the inaccuracies of real life.
She wants fantasy stuff. She wants some Harry Potter. If there's a dragon in it, she's in. Well, you know what? A dragon eat like Mortal Kombat. She loved.
Yeah.
And that was just
look, again, I'm not telling her how to live. I'm just suggesting how she can enjoy life.
No, by watching. No. If anybody's gonna tell her how to live, it's me.
Oh Lord, listen. If y'all don't let Amber like not be traumatized, like listen, let her avoid whatever trigger she wants to avoid. How about that? Yeah, man. So listen, I know we could keep going about Invincible. Let's rate it. Jay, what would you rate Invincible?
I would give it a 6 out of 5.
That sounds fair. Moses Magnum, what would you rate Invincible?
6 out of 5 it is for me.
Yeah, there it is. Oz, how about you, buddy?
I guess we're doing 6 now. That's okay.
Look, who am I to not bow to peer pressure? 6 out of 5, goddamn. Like, no, it deserves 7. It's so good. If you're not watching Invincible or if you don't like Invincible, listen. I mean, I'll listen to why, but I won't accept it. I won't accept it. I don't know. I'll just be like, pretty sure it's you. So yeah, mess with Invincible if you haven't yet. It's really good if you like superhero stuff. Like, oh my god, Jesus. All right, okay, I'm done. Fellas, anything else we need to like just chat about before we get out of here?
I did have a video presentation planned for why I believe the redesign of Adam Eve's shorts was and it's similar to like the effect of a action figure. Like if you paint a bikini on an action figure, it's easy to see the articulation of the leg. With those boy shorts, the video's not loading, so I can't play it for you. But there's a scene in Invincible where you actually see all they have to really articulate motion in is literally like the butt cheek line moving like in an S. Instead of being two lines like this, it's like this, and it just goes like that. And they just zoom out because it's one of the scenes that they chose to not spend money on because we're gonna have that awesome fight next. So they just zoomed out as she went and then just kind of moved like that, and the shorts made that transition a lot easier. So if it was an actual bikini, it would have taken you out of like special effects in Jupiter's Legacy would have taken you out a little bit. So I think that's a fair enough justification. I wish I could have played it for you, but I didn't.
See, Jay? See? Yeah. If she had her original costume, Jay, you would have given it a 5 out of 5.
Yeah. And who wants that?
No. Yeah, that wouldn't have happened.
Look, you got a 6 out of 5 even with the boy shorts.
Listen, right. I feel like this is everything Jay's been asking for in a show.
Yeah, pretty much.
He gets that, I get Eternal.
I'm sorry, Mo.
I'm used to it.
Listen, Mo, you know what you did. you know why you got Turtles. Listen, and I know why I got Guardians.
Life's too good otherwise.
Yeah, there it is. Like, okay, yeah, let's do it.
Who's got the? Oh, I guess I got the wrap up.
El Hecht, give us some final thoughts, buddy.
Man, there's a lot of stuff I need to watch.
Yeah.
I gotta pay some pipers.
Pay all the pipers, Unholy.
Pay Piper.
I'll pay Roddy Piper, Peter Piper.
There it is.
That's not going to make sense to anybody outside of Tucson.
Oz, give me some final thoughts, man.
I was a little excited that Clue Master and Stephanie Brown showed up in Batwoman until I saw the episode.
I don't know why you're still watching Batwoman. Like, I don't know why you're a glutton for punishment like this. Like, at least they're canceling Supergirl, so...
Yes. Jay's the one enjoying it, so I don't know why you're on my case.
Because you don't enjoy it.
I am enjoying it.
Yeah, well...
That's your friend.
You're right. He has tenure. Jay, final thoughts.
My first album, Foundation, is available wherever you stream music. So check it out.
What? Under what name?
J Random.
Boom. There you go. Moses Magnum. Final thoughts.
We got some content coming, so make sure you subscribe, like, hit the bell, and you're gonna get to see Hereditary. Larry watches the trailer for Hereditary, and you won't be disappointed. And if he shows up late for his haircut tomorrow, guess what? He's going to review another horror thing. Yeah, you got that coming. Plus, you got Fraction of Forever coming. You got, Fillmore review coming. So there's a lot of stuff coming down the pipe. Make sure you subscribe, like, and hit the bell.
Listen, Moses Magnum did my job for me for the entire Fantastic Forum. Thank you for hanging out with us. We always appreciate you and your support. So keep doing it. Let us know what you want, and we'll give it to you. We're the Fantastic Forum. We'll catch you next week.